doulas and childbirth educators and birth workers of all kinds that come and listen to me here on this YouTube channel. I am happy, excited, stressed, nervous, all of the things to be here with you guys today, sharing a message. I've really been thinking the last few days of what to share with you. When I posted the last video about doulas and COVID-19, was very early in the game as I saw things starting to change. And of course, now I look at all of the wonderful resources that are out there for people, and I realize that I have neither the expertise or skill to be giving you information about COVID-19. What I am going to do is tell you about all of the really great spots where you can get that information from all the people who have a business telling you what you need to know about all of this stuff. I really value all the work that Evidence-Based Birth is doing around COVID-19, and they have a resource page dedicated for it. I'm going to put it in the description below. And Donah International, which of course is really dear and near to my heart, as I am a board member for Donah International. And they've put out some really great resource kits for doulas as well. Connie Sultana has done a really great bang-up job of tips and tricks for providing virtual support as a birth doula and postpartum doula, and I am absolutely going to link that. I think that's one of the things a lot of us are thinking right now is, what on earth do I do now? And I'll tell you, as someone who has a very big and busy doula agency that supports 20 different doulas, meaning hundreds and hundreds of families, this has been by far the most stressful experience of my entire business career. You know, my agency is 15 years old, so that's a really old agency by doula standards. I've never had a situation like this before where me, my doulas, our clients have been so affected. Like most of you watching this, we've been severely restricted by how we can support families. I know there's a lot of even controversy in the doula community about whether we should be supporting postpartum families in person. And I'm certainly not here to debate the merits of doing it or not doing it. I'd be happy to share my opinion if anyone asks, but you know, that's neither here nor there at this point. I think what I want to talk about today is, how do we move forward from today? What do we need to do as we go forward? And there's a few thoughts that I've had and things that I've come back to over the last couple of weeks specifically. Number one is my stress level is starting to diminish just slightly. I think that mammals and humans specifically have a really great adaptability to stressful situations. Sometimes we think we don't because we find it difficult, but it doesn't actually mean that we're not adapting to it. I think actually we're pretty resilient as a species, and we're pretty great at figuring out what to do next. So number one is, I want to reframe my own thinking, and I encourage you to do the same about all the things that we are doing. Sure, maybe some of them were too late. Maybe some things we could have done differently if we could go back in time. But remember that either the future or the past are not things that we can do anything about. And so I encourage you to try to stay really present in the moment. And like we always say as doulas, when our clients are feeling particularly stressed or anxious about a situation they feel they have a loss of control around, is to focus on what we can do and not what we can't do. Because, well, that's not a really good use of our energy. And at this time, in this middle of this pandemic, I think our energy is kind of in small supply, in short supply. So number one is, let's be present in the moment with our thinking. Let's focus on what we can do instead of what we can't do. And let's do things to try to reduce our catecholamines. As doulas, we're specialists in hormones, and we know that catecholamines are going to wreak havoc on our system. They're going to change how we think, how we see things, how we process, how we cope, how we deal. I mean, it's something that's going to be really impactful in how we're able to get through this. And so we want to make sure that we're doing things to reduce those stress hormones. And that could include things like mindfulness, that could include meditation, that could include yoga, exercise, spending nice relaxing time with the people that you love and that you're in self-isolation with. And I want to talk a little bit about some of those, because I think it's really easy for us to sometimes say, do mindfulness practice, do meditation. And sometimes we're sitting there thinking, I don't even know what that is, or I'm not good at that. I used to think I was bad at meditation because every time I would meditate, I felt like I would fall asleep and I would start dreaming about things. And then eventually someone told me, that I wasn't really dreaming because I always remembered it and I always found the message from my dream. And someone said, Steph, that's not you being bad at it, that's actually you being good at it. So mindfulness and meditation, those are not things where, our mind clears and we just sit there with this like completely blank mind. I think sometimes we have this idea that that's what it is, but that's not true. So mindfulness is really about bringing your awareness to the present moment. And one of the things that can be really helpful is bringing your awareness to your 5 senses. So I had an opportunity to do this really cool session. One of the things that I did in terms of focusing on what I can do instead of can't do is I've been putting together some free sessions for our clients once a week. I have some kind of a guest that comes and joins us, and we focus on something to help the pregnant and new parents that are sitting at home right now in the middle of all of this. So Heather Radich was my guest last week, and we did this really cool, she did this really cool mindfulness practice. I really loved it. It was called 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And I hope I get this in the right order. So basically what you do is you just take a moment, take a few breaths and just, still yourself, bring yourself into this present moment. And then I want you to look around at 5 things that you can see. So just look around and just notice, without too much judgment, 5 things that you can see. And then you're going to touch 4 things. So whatever's in your surroundings, I want you to touch 4 things. And what does it feel like? What do you notice when you touch it? Is it soft? Is it silky? Does it make noise? Then the next one, 3 things that you can hear. And maybe if maybe you start with your eyes open, then maybe you close your eyelids down and really focus on 3 things that you can hear. The more time that you spend, the more you notice sounds off in the distance. And then you're going to try to come up with 2 things that you can smell in your surroundings. Maybe all of a sudden you notice the smell of the dinner that you cooked, or the lunch that you cooked, or the smell of your shirt from the laundry detergent that you use, or something. Maybe you notice the scent of your hair. So 2 things that you can smell, and then 1 thing that you can taste. And sometimes that's harder if we haven't just had something to eat or drink, but just paying attention. What do you taste? I found that to be a really, really cool activity. It was so simple, and it was really something that you can spend, 5 minutes doing anywhere. So anytime that you're feeling anxious or stressed, trying to do that 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 mindfulness activity. When it comes to meditation, meditation can look a lot of different ways. So I personally do Kundalini yoga. And so we use a lot of mantra-based meditation where we're saying a word, and maybe we even have our hands in a specific position, in a specific mudra while we're doing this repetitive meditation. And I find that the longer that I do it, and I do them anywhere from sometimes only 1 or 3 minutes, but I go all the way to about 31 minutes that I'll do a meditation. And the longer that I spend on it, the more I seem to get into it. And for me personally, I find that usually it's, right around that 10-minute mark that I really start to get deep into a meditation, where I do have more and more of those moments of my mind kind of drifting and drifting to a good place, like to a really neutral kind of place. But it doesn't have to be 10 minutes, it doesn't have to be 31 minutes, of course. It could be 3 minutes. Any amount of time that you can stop, maybe close your eyes or focus your gaze on something specific and just work on your breath, hearing, feeling that breath moving in and out of our body. And maybe reminding ourselves that, we're all doing the very best that we can right now. And that is good enough. It's good enough when our clients do that, and it sure as heck is good enough when we do that. I think it would be really easy right now to get overwhelmed and stressed beyond recognition at the state of what's going on. But I think it would be a lot more helpful for us to take all of those doula skills that we've learned, that we've utilized with our clients or families that we serve, and put them to good use for ourselves and for our community. How can you take those doula skills and use that in your family, which I'm sure a lot of you are experiencing really stressful situations in your home right now, with kids off school and maybe partners that are trying to work from home, or maybe we don't have a partner and we're trying to manage everything and we don't have our childcare in place anymore. I know there are a lot of reasons to be stressed right now. And there are even more reasons to use all of those coping skills that we have learned and or to learn new ones to cope through these unprecedented times. I encourage you to connect with others socially, online, virtually, of course. If you are getting more stressed by connecting on social media, for example, giving yourself a break from that. And I know it's so hard to not go to it when you feel like you're going to miss something important. You're not going to miss something important. Someone will tell you, right? Your phone is still on. You can still, if your friend or doula partner or someone, if there's something big happens, someone will tell you. You're not going to miss anything super duper important. You can catch up when you get yourself to a nice, calm, neutral place where your spirit is more open to looking at that again. And if you find no value in it, then you know what? Don't look at it at all. That's okay too. There's no points given or taken away for being on or off social media right now. You've got to think about what is going to best support your spirit, your soul, your stress level, and allow you to continue to support the other people in your life, whether you're continuing to support clients and families, or whether it's just yourself and your family and your neighbors, or whoever else comes into your circle. So anyway, that's all I really wanted to share. I hope that that's helpful, and I really wish everyone just absolutely the best through these super difficult times. I will continue to touch base at least every week or two and see how everyone's doing. And if there's anything that I can do to support you, please feel free to message below, or you can always email me at hello@doulaschool.ca, or you can find me on the gram. Okay, thanks everyone. Bye. Much love.